An icon reborn. A new season begins. Drivers must face off wheel to wheel with only one goal: to be crowned champion. Experience the competition and the glory days of early 80s IndyCar action. Hear the song of 500 horsepower Cosworth engines. Watch as drivers wrestle these ground effects cars into submission. Without electronic driver aids, it creates the perfect combination of man, machine, and speed. The Lionheart Retro Series, presented by HPP Simulation, starts now.
We are just mere weeks off the closest finish in Lionheart Retro Series at Pocono. Now, from Pennsylvania, they loaded up, passed customs. Now we're in the land of the rising sun. Welcome to Japan. It's the Lionheart Retro Series HPP Simulation 175, live from the Twin Ring Motegi, round 6 of 18 on the Season 2 schedule. Welcome to Motegi, Japan, home of the Twin Ring Motegi, and welcome to the Global SimRacing Channel and the Countdown to Green presented by the Sim Pit. GSRC is going to bring you all the on-track Lotus 79 action live as it happens, and of course, for our streaming award-worthy 15 minutes of pre-race show here for the Countdown to Green presented by the Sim Pit. We'll bring you everything you need to know about tonight's HPP Simulation 175 that's going to immediately follow this pre-race show. I'm Adam Young. Joining me tonight is Bill Soupson. And of course, as always in the director chair, you'll find Jed Yaman using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. So, Soup, it's going to be really hard to top Pocono. Closest finish in Lionheart Retro Series action at 0.010 seconds. That's a lot of zeros. Basically, 1/100th of a second. With Adam Blocker over Dustin Wardlow. Just an amazing show was put on by the Retro Series in the first Triple Crown event of the season. But now, after jumping across the ocean, we've come to the Twin Ring Motegi, where we could still see some 3 and 4 wide racing. So, Soup, why don't you go tell us a little bit about the Twin Ring?
I'd be happy to, but viewers, before I do that, let me tell you about what is making this broadcast possible here on the Countdown to Green, and that is the Sim Pit, an entertainment channel dedicated to sim racing. Its mission is to bring you news, reviews, and information from around the world about sim racing hardware and software. It also focuses on what it takes to be a better sim racer with instructional videos and how-tos that will help your performance on the virtual track. Check it out at thesimpit.com. And speaking of virtual tracks, let's once again talk about today's venue. The IndyCars had their fun at Japan the last 2 weeks, and now it's time for the Lotus 79 to take the track here in Japan for the HPP Simulation 175. Motegi will be one of the 2 races presented by HPP, who is awarding the champion of the Retro Series their custom 3-pedal set with hydraulic braking systems. Located near Motegi, Japan, just 86 miles from the Fukushima nuclear disaster. And as far as this reporter can tell, the oval has yet to be repaired from the quake damage, but here in the iRacing universe it lives, and Geiger counter friendly. Twin Ring's name comes from the facilities having 2 race tracks, the 1.5-mile oval and the 3-mile road course, built in 1997 by Honda as part of the company's effort to bring IndyCar series to Japan. And that it did. In fact, Danny Patrick earned her only major racing series win here, finding success on that egg-shaped oval. And we are indeed on the 1.5-mile ovoid, the super speedway with 10-degree banking. But the best way to get an idea of what this place is really like is to jump on board and take a lap around Motegi.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global SimRacing Channel. I'm Brian Yazek, taking you for a spin around the twin ring Motegi oval circuit in the GSRC Lotus 79. Here we go. Without further ado, down the front stretch, very, very wide. Bringing it straight down here to the bottom, into 1 and 2. We'll kind of hook that white line right on the bottom. Make sure that you don't bring it off that, shooting sparks out the back. Making it look old school and cool down there. Out of turn 2, keeping it real low. If you drift it up to the fence, you're just costing yourself probably upwards of about a tenth. And especially with how close the qualifying can get on the oval side, that could be everything. Down here into turn 3, take a little bit of a later entry because of the way that the corner is done. It's a little bit of a sharper radius than 1 and 2. Down the front stretch again, you see this track is probably 7 cars wide, and you could see them every bit that far wide here in this race. After lap 1, you could see guys maybe move up a little bit, especially if you're trying to make a run on somebody or the air is kind of disturbed in front of you. Try to bring it up just a little bit more and then get your draft down the back stretch. Down here in turn 3, once again, don't let it get too high here. You'll see the track, it looks wide in the corners, but the banking and the grip level just isn't there up at the top. Off of turn 4, down here on this very long front stretch, very wide, across the line. That is going to complete our guide here around the Twin Ring Motegi Oval Circuit. I'm Brian Yazek. Enjoy the show.
And that was Brian Yazek taking us around Twin Ring Motegi. More on Brian coming up here in a few minutes. But, Soup, after that big win last time out by Adam Blocker, and boy, do I mean big, it helped extend his points lead, but not by a substantial amount, only going from a 20-point lead to a 27-point lead.
Yeah, it's still really close. Any of the top 5 last week at Pocono, either point leader Adam Blocker, second in points Dustin Candyman Wardlow, Jake Wright in 8th, Michael Goodman and Brian Yosik in 5th and 4th respectively. They will undoubtedly all be threats here once again, as they are some of the top oval racers in this Lionheart Retro Series. Looking beyond those top 5 last time, Dan Guerin is always near the top of any Lionheart when it runs on an oval. And looking to him to stick his car up front once again. Jason Galvin and Andrew Kinsella both missed Pocono race. Well, they're going to be looking to make up some lost ground. And then, of course, last but definitely not least, we want to talk about Alex Saunders sitting in 7th in the points. The upstart Nighthawk Motorsports driver who has demonstrated great speed wherever he goes. Although he hasn't been able to really pick up a win yet on an oval, but he has 2 wins so far on road courses. And finally, Ron Hacker is the biggest mover after round 5, jumping an impressive 10 spots. He's not on that graphic because he's only in 23rd position. Let's quickly look at the team championship where, my goodness, it is the new team of Raven Motorsports. They continue to lead the championship. They're sitting 49 points ahead of Adrenaline and 73 up on 8-Ball Motorsports, who moves into P3 in the standings. The big news for 8-Ball is Dan Guerin, who has just committed to the Retro Series full-time, will be racing for the Sink It on the Brake and You Win team. Now, the team championship shaking up to be fairly close battle with there are 7 teams realistically still with a shot at the crown. What about the newcomers, Adams? What do we got there?
Yeah, at the top of those standings, you'll find Brian Yazek. And, of course, we got to say congratulations to Brian Yazek. He just got married not more than a week or so ago, and he's not here tonight. So we're either thinking that he's still on his honeymoon, or the wife has already put the kibosh on something. I guess we'll see next time out if, he gets the wife's permission to be able to kind of rejoin us. James Kahula also, I do not see him on the roster here so far tonight, sitting second in the point standings for the rookie series. And I just got to think that maybe he's still celebrating his friend Brian Yazek's nuptials there. Alex Saunders, though, on the other hand, he's made another move up. Of course, Alex Saunders wicked fast, and he's leading the practice standings actually here right now as well. He's sitting 3rd in the rookie standings, and of course it's going to be a tight rookie battle, I think, here as the season goes along. All right, so Lionheart, of course, sanctions both this series and the big sister IndyCar series, and both campaigns honored the memory of the original Lionheart, Dan Weldon. And with that in mind, let's go and take a look at the Retro Series details here for today. And Soup, one thing to mention, of course, is with Yazek not here tonight, he does have some drops in play.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a minute. Of course, this is season 2. It's round 6. Now, we've had 4 ovals. This will be our 4th oval, and we have 2 road courses already in the books. Talked about those drop races. You get 2 of them. And that helps when you get married. You can use one for your honeymoon, or case two, I believe. It's fixed setups here for the Lotus 79, which should help the racing, as drivers are going to be prevented from being tempted to set their cars up on a razor's edge trying to be fast, which is a recipe for a yellow fest. Not going to see that today. Racing going to be very close and very clean. Cash prizes, well, it's a Denny's steak dinner short of 4,400 American dollars. So they're not only racing for pride, they're racing for, well, really, HPP is offering a great set of pedals to the winner. So that's probably, along with the cash, that's really something that everyone would like to have, Adam.
Yeah, and of course, one thing too, Japan has much more varied weather than a lot of people give it credit for. So what are these drivers going to be facing tonight as far as the weather's concerned, Sue?
Again, this is a horrible misappropriation of talent, as Adam, you are actually a professional weatherman, but here I am doing this. And Amjad won't even get me like the telestrator where I can draw clouds or anything like that.
Well, that's because you need the old magnetic wall with throwing like little stuff up there.
That's what I definitely need. We're looking at 84 degrees Fahrenheit, but look at this. We got clear skies, which means that track temperature is a whopping, a blistering 111 degrees, 111. That's going to be hot. The good news is these tires are indestructible, so I'm not sure if it's going to wear them out very much, but it will make it a little slippery. So we're going to see how the racing goes. I think it's going to be a little slicker than we're used to. The good news is they knew what they were getting into as they set this weather up ahead of time, so everybody has time to practice in it.
Yeah, and one thing, too, I want to mention on that soup, of course, is with the winds at 14 miles an hour, with iRacing winds the way they are, the winds actually are going to feel much stronger than that 14 miles an hour on these cars. Out of the direction they are, though, it's also going to affect them, I think, in the tightest corner on this track. It's almost like a mini Darlington in a way. Well, actually, I shouldn't say mini. I think they're the Twin Ring Motegi is a little bit bigger. But with that egg shape and that really tight end, it's really the only corner you have to lift in.
I love it. I wish more oval racetracks were this way. They talk about all four corners being different at Indy, and they are more or less. But here, literally, corners 3 and 4 are much tighter than 1 and 2. Makes for great racing. One thing the guys don't have to worry about, though, because it's the fixed setup, they don't have to worry about that. Hopefully, the series officials are giving them something that's racy.
Yeah, watching Adam Blocker right now. Seeing if he can best his first lap. We're currently sitting second on the leaderboard. What's he going to come across here for his second lap? He's going down the back straightaway right now. This is that tight corner where they should actually slow down to maybe about 145, maybe 150 miles an hour or so. There's Justin Weaver. Justin right now sitting, I believe, 11th on the speed charts here. So very, very fast speeds out there, Soup. In fact, they actually are second and third place, at least going down to the thousandths of a second, are tied at the moment between Adam Blocker and Dan Guerin. Of course, iRacing models seconds out just a little bit further than what they actually display, so giving Adam Blocker the edge on that.
Our pole sitter is the rookie that we talked about, Alex Saunders. Now, he has a couple wins wire to wire on road courses, but he's been great as far as qualifying goes. At Pocono, he qualified third, and at Phoenix, he qualified first on the ovals, but he has yet to get a good even finish inside the top 20. Actually, let me correct myself. Pocono, his best result so far on an oval was 20th. So he's fast. Let's see if he can bring it home after this 175 miles that we've been racing.
Yeah, and I do want to look at Andrew Kinsella here. Okay, actually, he just came across the line and put his car in 11th. That's actually a little bit surprising. He was one of the faster cars in practice, so a little bit slower on his qualifying run than what his practice speeds were. Some of that could be attributed, though, to the draft. The draft's going to play a very big role here today.
Yes, with the distance that we're going, though, we have plenty of laps for him to make it up as he currently sits in 11th. But I agree, that's a little farther down than we would usually see Havoc catch.
Yeah, one thing to watch out with Andrew, though, he was talking in the driver's chat earlier. It's his first race running the VR headset, so that could be something to keep an eye on for him here tonight too.
Oh my goodness, that could be huge. Could be a really big learning curve. He may help him in the long run, but short term he could be slower, and I think it's showing that right now as he qualified in 12th.
So I don't think any other cars are actually out on the racetrack right now. George Zaldo is, but I think he's just kind of running a really slow cool down lap at the amazing speed right now of 78 miles an hour. You don't even see some serious stuff at 78 miles an hour. You got to bump it up another 10 miles an hour there, George. All right, so I think it's safe to go ahead and award award the pole award here tonight to Alex Saunders, that rookie who has just shown amazing speed out there here for so far this season, and Michael Goodman. Both of them are going to make up the front row.
Row 2 is Adam Blocker and Dandy Dan Guerin.
Yeah, moving on to Dustin Wardlow and Joe Branch. They'll be in row 3.
7th and 8th is going to be filled up by Jason Galvin and Chris Lanini. Good qualifying from him.
Yeah, George Adams and George Anzaldo make up 9th and 10th.
In 11th, it's Woody. There's a snake in my boot, Mahan. And 12th position, Andrew Havakech Kinsella.
And 11th position, Woody Mahan. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Ron Hacker and Justin Weaver are going to be in row 7. So good qualifying efforts from them, right solidly in the middle of the field.
15th is Ken Hacker, all ribbons and curls. In the Sweet 16 position is James Brandt, a newcomer.
Yeah, Ryan Otis. That is not the qualifying effort we normally see out of Ryan Otis. He's going to be starting way back there in 17th position. Alongside him, another guy I expect to see up there, but sometimes he doesn't qualify very well, but he races amazing. Big Joe Hasser.
Frank Beezer in 19th. And here in the Far East, in 20th position, it's Greg West.
Going into row 11, you'll find David Altman, who David driving for a new team here for tonight. You're going to see a slightly different look on his car. And then Brian Greenlee.
12th row is populated by Tyler Graft and Peter Edwards.
Row 13 is Scott Johnson and Jack Bogan.
And all these guys didn't put in qualifying times now. 27th, Jake Wright, way far down. Vincent Blumenthal outside of him.
Yeah, and then you'll find Robert Lewin and Ed Tutwiler.
Brandon Limpkeman and Mark Amick round out your 32-car field.
All right. Well, of course, we do want to give a shout-out to our race sponsor here tonight, HPP Simulation. When it's time to go sim racing, nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system from HPP Simulation. Designed and manufactured in the USA on state-of-the-art CNC equipment, HPP's hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more information, please visit www.hppsimulation.com. And, of course, the HPP Simulation 175 here tonight. We've got, looks like 32 cars that are gridding up, getting ready to go. We got some big names in the back of the field. That was going to be pretty entertaining, possibly to watch them come up through. And as the cars roll off pit road, let's go ahead and jump on board with some of our onboard cameras. We'll start off with number 1, Jake Wright, who will be running the HPP Simulation onboard camera here for tonight on his Lotus 79. And he's going to be one of the guys that's going to be in the back that's we're really going to have to watch out for. And then next up, also with an HPP Simulation onboard camera, is number 8, Dan Guerin. Dan starting way up in the front here tonight. Looking forward for a good effort for him starting 4th.
Pierre Nightingale not here today. He was going to race on the butt kicker onboard camera. We'll have to wait to see him next round. This is the land of the rising sun, and it is indeed morning here as the shadows are long and thin.
It is. So, and that makes that track temperature 111 even more amazing considering how low that sun is still in the sky. But that pace car, the Mustang pace car, they imported a Mustang over into Japan for today's race. Getting ready to pull off the track. Got some other storylines, of course, that we'll be following. Of course, iRacing had its latest update here in a while. There could be some implications from that we'll talk about as we go. But until then, Alex Saunders is on the loud pedal. We are going racing at Twin Ring Motegi for the HPP Simulation 175. He's going to get a good jump on the field going into turn 1. And that turn 1 is almost nearly flat out. He has no problem with that, but they're already going 3 wide behind him with Dan Guerin kind of stuck in the middle. On the outside of that pack was Michael Goodman. He's going to give way, drop back to, I believe, to about 5th or 6th position.
Yeah, Saunders went in nice and clean. Goodman, the big loser up front as he just backs out. Everybody else doing a good job now as they negotiate the pointy end of the oval.
Yeah, Alex Saunders, though, already losing that lead, though. That draft is going to be killer here today, Soup, as Adam Blocker will slot him up. Started on the grid in 3rd position. Well, he's going to lead the first lap around Twin Ring Motegi here for today. And don't look now, already coming up the field, Dustin Wardlow.
All 32 cars make it around cleanly. Mark Omrick in the caboose position.
Dustin Wardlow trying to lead him in through 3 and 4. Tightest portion of the racetrack, they got down to about 150 miles per hour. We'll see if Adam Blocker is able to fight back on the outside. Soup, this seems like this is going to be one of those tracks that you really can't set up perfect for.
Yeah, Well, at least they're all dealing with the same thing, as they're all racing the same car. Wardlow, the Candyman, makes another position. He is up, my goodness, up into first. He has picked up, he started in fifth. He's our hard charger.
Yeah, so far that draft helped him stay up there, but he's the first guy that's shown any kind of ability to hang on to that lead here. Still very early on in the running, though, after only a couple laps, as Adam Blocker's going to slot in behind him, try to use that draft. Heading into one, he's going to make the move, go to the inside, move Adam Blocker back up into that P1 spot. Ooh, Dustin Wardlow, though, almost came down. Alex Saunders trying to get back into it here. Dustin Wardlow stuck on the outside. Here comes Joe Branch back there as well. Dan Guerin now involved. Michael Goodman in that car that you see blinking a little bit. It's actually Jason Galvin. Jason Galvin doesn't usually have connection problems, but does seem to be bouncing a little bit here right now.
I noticed Galvin and Blocker really looking, boy, the Candyman really got the car wide. Almost put it in the wall in next to Alex Saunders in second. Boy, it is pack racing, Adam, all the way through. There is nobody dropping off. It goes all the way back to 18th position. Big Joe Hassard back there until there's a break in the field.
In fact, here we go. Trying to go 3 wide for the lead. Going down the back straightaway. Alan Blocker on the outside. He's going to have to give way through that corner. Move Alex Saunders up to the lead through the middle. Will he hold it through the start-finish line? I believe he will. Credit Alex Saunders with that lap, with that nice move going through the middle.
Joe Branch was on the inside there, kept the car down low, wasn't able to get anything. Now he's working on the inside of that blue car, which is Blocker. I think Branch is going to get the run. He's going to bring with him the car of Michael Goodman.
Yeah, this time Branch has that big run. He's going to use it through 3 and 4 here. But Alex Saunders runs that line almost perfectly. He should be able to challenge him here on the outside going down the front straightaway, Sue.
Yeah, so far I can't get a feel if it's the low line or the top line is the place to be, as the racing seems very competitive all over as Blocker continues to blink.
Yeah, all right, so settling down just a touch for at least a second or two up front, and then as soon as I say that, Joe Branch looks to the outside. He's going to try to see if he can do anything with that of Alex Saunders down there. Alex Saunders showing a little bit of strength now. And that gap right there, this is very much right now like a Daytona Talladega stock car race. That gap looks big for the moment, but they're going to suck right back up and probably buy Alex Saunders here in just a moment. Joe Branch gathering steam just behind him. And he's got Michael Goodman and Dustin Wardlow back there working with him as well.
Passing is rough as nobody's really been able to work their way through the field. Scott Johnson in 20th position is up 5 spots. We talked about Kinsella. Well, he's still in 12th right now. In fact, he started there. He's made up no ground.
Yeah, it seems like in the middle part of that pack, it's just hard to gain any kind of ground. It's really only up front where things can kind of spread out and move around just a little bit. And by spread out, I mean use more of the racetrack for you to be able to kind of move up a little bit. Now, great battle up front. That's Michael Goodman now trying to make a play on the lead. He finished that lap second. He still has Alex Saunders on the outside of him. Alex Saunders is going to try to keep him as low as he can here and try to use that momentum off 3 and 4. Michael Goodman pinned to the inside. Wheels right there on the white line. He's going to swing out. We're going to be able to credit Michael Goodman for leading the lap here.
Started 32 cars. 23 of them are still in the lead group. Oh, man, look at Saunders. Takes a really wide run into corners 1 and 2, hoping to get a run. He'll have a little momentum, but again, I think it's just a matter of you can make the pass. Where do you want to be a little later?
Yeah, I'm beginning to see that maybe some of those guys like Jake Wright and, we're back there intentionally to try to maybe let things play out a little bit more in this race. Because right now, the racing up front, very, very tight and competitive. And as you know, sometimes in pack racing, all it's going to take is one slip-up and could have a problem.
Yeah, I'm not sure if lap traffic is going to be that big of an issue as so many cars are on the lead lap. Some big names that are farther back. Ryan Otis in 14th position. And also, let's see if I can find, I should have really checked. Let's see where Jake Wright is. Oh, look at this. Jake Wright way back.
Yeah, Jake Wright's one of the wide guys. I think he's really lagging back intentionally here tonight, Sue. I think there's a reason why he didn't put down a qualifying time. I think he knew the racing was going to be like this up front and just decided to hang in the back and let things play out.
I think you're absolutely right. As the racing is fierce, if we can take a look at 21st position right now, This is a little battle. Settle down a little bit. This is Scott Johnson, David Altman, and Tyler Groff. They were 3 wide. They've settled down a little bit. Greenlee and Greg West back 22nd and 23rd. And
accident on the front straightaway. See some smoke. I think it's Andrew Kinsella. Is that Dustin Wardlow coming across the track? Cars flipping. David Altman's in it.
Yeah,
David Altman's still on his roll bar.
It all starts with Michael Goodman. This is way up. Michael Goodman gets into it with Jason Galvin. Then Goodman starts to spin. Then he's way off the pace. Then that's what checked everybody up. We're going to look one more time. Now, Goodman's in the blue car. Galvin's in the citrus-flavored car. You see those 2 cars get together. Now, watch Goodman. Goodman is way off the pace. He gets it straightened up. And then that's when people start to check up. And then Kinsella gets bumped into the wall, comes across, and that's what happens.
Yeah, eventually that first car looked like Dustin Wardlow's car from afar. Thankfully, it was not Dustin Wardlow. Unfortunately, it was Ryan Otis, and we're going to ride on board that Dragonfly racing machine here as he comes off of 4 and then just has a face full of car.
Yep, I misidentified as Kinsella, but that's Otis. He was sitting back there trying to stay out of trouble. Sometimes, I guess he was too far back. He found trouble. So we go to yellow for the first time.
That's right. We had 13 laps of green flag racing before the yellow came out. And I will say that was a fantastic piece of driving from Michael Goodman to get that car back straight after that contact there. And then, unfortunately, almost everybody was able to get around him. And then just in the chaos after that, that's when things kind of happened. And, here we are, first yellow, and we'll see how pit stops are going to play out.
Well, strangely enough, the rookie has decided to come in. Now, I've done enough of these. Oh boy, there's more coming in but they're farther back. The Saunders was the driver that was way up front that decided to come in. Most of the guys up front stayed out. I've learned enough not to worry about these tires as they are really tough to wear out. So he's in for fuel. He's just going to put him on a different fuel strategy.
Yeah, so if things shake out here later on in the race and we end up with a lot of green flag running, which I think is entirely possible here tonight, given the width of the track, we could have 2 separate packs of cars and 2 separate fuel strategies, Soup.
Well, my estimate is that you can go about 50 laps on a tank of fuel. So that means if you go 50 from here, that gets you to 65. You come on in, fill it up, and that gets you to the end. So in theory, those guys that are pitting now might be able to go the distance on one more stop. The rest of the guys will have to stop twice. Now, that's assuming there's no more yellow flags between now and the checker. That's a pretty big assumption.
Well, with just everybody that's still running on the lead lap, the only cars not on the lead lap, of course, the 2 retirees from that event there, Ryan Otis and David Altman. Should be a pretty quick yellow here. So let's go ahead and talk about one of our sponsors here real quick. We'll talk about Butt Kicker. And if you're a sim racer looking to add that missing driver-to-car connection, bringing more realism to your sessions, Butt Kicker products are the way to go. A Butt Kicker moves actual mass, producing a haptic immersion that's powerful and accurate. See all the family of products at thebuttkicker.com and use the promo code LION20 to get 20% off your order.
I've made a deal with myself. If I use the word haptic immersion somewhere in my day, I get a candy bar before I go to bed. It's a little rule I've done.
How does your wife feel about that?
She's not happy about it. As the waistline is, I blame Butt Kicker. Haptic immersion, baby.
So one of the storylines that I was going to talk about here tonight, Soup, actually turns out it might be a non-factor. Of course, iRacing had its big update here earlier this week, and one of the things that was introduced was a blend line for coming back onto pit road. Of course, many leagues across iRacing enforce coming onto the back straightaway under yellow or under caution. I mean, after pit stops for these cars, and that now iRacing's implemented that service wide, but it's not on the twin ring Motegi yet, so that will not be a factor here for tonight. The lights are off on the Mustang pace car. We're waiting for it to drop down, and in the lead is going to be Dan Guerin. Of course, Dan coming back to the Lionheart Retro Series full time in that 8-ball motorsports machine and the HPP simulation onboard camera, who should have a lot of empty track here in front of him as we get things going. He's going to try to get a good jump on Joe Branch, and indeed he does. does. We are back under green flag racing here for the HPP Simulation 175. Dan Guerin already playing the snaking game, coming down to the middle line through the back straightaway. Joe Branch not able to gain a lot of ground just yet. Look for him to get a big run as we go down the back straightaway. Indeed, here he is. Big run out of 2. He's already going to the inside. See if Joe Branch is able to do anything with him here.
You look at the ticker at the top of your screen. Know that the top 14 drivers all stayed out. Back in the leader of all the cars who made that stop, Alex Saunders, followed by Andrew Kinsella. They're on the one stop from here rotation.
Where everybody else will have to probably make at least 2 stops. That's what we're believing here for today. And Jason Galvin looking a little bit racy there after some of his earlier connection troubles. Clearly that contact with Michael Goodman a few minutes ago. He's trying to get up there. He's sneaking for second. In fact, he's thinking about taking it 3 wide here.
Look at him coming at you, going
right
right by
cars
you.
Bumping off each other, going down the back straightaway. One of those was Woody Mahan, or at least it looked like it. No, just Big Joe Hassert and Woody Mahan fighting hard going down the back straightaway. They are currently locked into a battle, I believe, for 8th and 9th position.
And there goes Woody underneath them right now. Oh, and they almost touched. I think they might have touched. Boy. Luckily, iRacing doesn't have the cut tire rule because I think Mahan might have got into the left front wing of Big Joe Hassert. They continue to battle for 8th position. Seattle is pass-ups down into 3 and 4.
Back to 3 wide for the lead again. This time, Dustin Wardlow already on the inside there. And now that straightens out a little bit as they go down the front straightaway, but that's going to heat up again here any second as Dan Guerin sticking to that low line. Dustin Wardlow's already shown some strength in trying to get up to the front, trying to show a little bit more here, going down the back straightaway. Good run. Another guy that's getting a good run is Jason Galvin, and behind him, Adam Blocker. Adam Blocker actually had to lift a touch. Decided discretion's a better part of valor. I'm just going to ride back here.
Almost getting together. The Candyman really almost got into it with, I believe it was Dan Guerin. Dustin Wardlow gathers it up. I thought he was heading towards the wall.
And caution on the speedway. Peter Edwins is facing the wrong direction.
Get to that one. Watch this for the lead. Boom. Wardlow gets bumped and he gathers it back up, loses a few positions. When the yellow flies, he's going to get sorted out back, I believe, into 7th position. Now we'll look at the caution. That's Peter Edwins.
Yeah, you'll see the contact there with Peter Edwins and Ed Tutwiler. So that DirtyBlinds.com machine of Peter Edwins not doing so good here so far as he's ended up facing the wrong direction and bringing out the yellow.
Tutwiler dove it in really deep under the white line. Couldn't make it stiff. Drifted up into Edwins, and we bring out the second caution. And now we'll see if those guys like Guerin that were up front, the 14 that didn't pit the first time, we'll see if they pit this time. I would think no. I would think if they didn't pit before,
I think they've committed to what they're going to do here at this point. We're going to wait to see what happens here when they come around. Pit road should be open here this time by. I should also note that even though Peter Edwins got into the wall, I don't see any significant damage on his machine. So he might be able to continue on, assuming his suspension's okay. We'll keep an eye on him as well. But the focus up front right now to see will they or won't they?
You know, with the racing so intense, we really haven't given you our race analysis right now. As they see if some of these guys.
So the answer is they will.
They will.
So they're coming down. One guy, it looks like we got at least one taker to stay out. That's Chris Lanini trying to gain a few positions here.
And so I would imagine that those guys that came in before are not going to come in this time. Well, I may have corrected. I don't know. I think Kinsella is in. Saunders stays. No, that's right. Kinsella's going to stay out. Saunders is going to stay out.
Yeah, so we're going to have some new players up here with Chris Lanini and Woody Mahan, James Brandt.
Yeah, we're going to actually have 3 sets of drivers now. Lanini, Mahan, and Brandt are going to be on a no-stop strategy. Then you got Saunders that goes all the way down to Goodman in 14th position from 3rd to 14th. They've been out for about 8 laps. And then you have Dan Guerin and Galvin and those guys who ran along the first time. Quickly, let's look at our race analysis so you guys know how far we're going. It is 113 laps. That's 175 miles. Now, we estimate the max fuel stint about 50. And of course, incidents, you get 3, you get 8, you lose 3 points, you get 12, and you are DQ'd. Those usually don't come into play. And of course, that brought to you by Lock Precision Rocketry. Fly clean, fly safe, fly hard. That's not quite right, but something like that might be. Sounds a lot like our ending to our broadcast.
Well, I think Chris Lanini's deciding he wants to go ahead and go to the back, so he's coming down pit road now. So we'll move Woody Mahan actually up into the lead of the race.
Page 17 of the GSRC Commentator's Handbook says, get the catchphrase right. Fly safe, fly hard, fly lock. There you go.
And lights still on the pace car. We're going to talk about another one of our sponsors here as we work our way under yellow. I want you to join the Gutter Geeks every week as their round table of veteran gamers talk about the latest and oldest in video and tabletop gaming. Whether it's interviews with indie and established developers, deep dives on classic hardware, or just sitting around the table talking games while throwing back a few random adult beverages, you're sure to have a great time with the gang from Guys, Games, and Beer. For more information, visit www.guygamesandbeer.net.
Look at that logo. You got a mug of beer right there next to a joystick. I mean,
that looks like one of those old Atari joysticks.
Yeah.
Well, they did mention maybe some old games. I'm all right with that.
Well, these guys they're very old. I think they would know all that stuff.
Will they buy me a beer though? That's my question.
They'll buy you a beer and they'll critique it before they give it to you. That's how they roll.
I'm all right with that.
Woody Mayhead out, and so is James Brandt. These guys have yet to pit. Those are the two guys who are doing a no-stopper. Saunders made that stop about 10 laps ago.
Now,
wait, and Woody Mayhead comes in. He must be watching the broadcast.
Okay, and another car coming in is another car I was getting ready to talk about, Michael Goodman. He's coming in from 14th position, so still some guys deciding, and I think the lights went out on the pace car here, trying to verify that. Indeed they are. So we'll be going to green next time by, and that's going to be James Brandt in the lead of this race.
They're doing a little studying here. I honestly don't know much about James Brandt. In fact, I don't think... Oh, here we go. Let's give you a little idea how many times he's raced. 3 races, his best finish so far. Well, he had a 5th at Phoenix. This guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, no, he had a very solid run at Phoenix, and if my memory recalls, it was one of those types of runs, Soup, where we really didn't talk about him a lot at Phoenix. He very, very quietly got into the top 5, and as you know from some of these races, that's the way to do it. Sometimes you don't want the commentators talking about you. Just let me sneak in there, get underneath the door.
Well, maybe that's why he's decided to get up there, get a little love from GSRC, is he's going to be out in front. I think, now again, these tires don't wear out, so we'll see how he rolls here. He qualified 16th. He's on a lot older rubber, but again, these old Lotus 79 tires, they were meant to go for a while, so I think he'll probably be in pretty good shape, but he's got the rookie behind him of Alex Saunders.
Now, we keep saying Alex Saunders is a rookie. Yes, he's a rookie on the rookie standings, but he drives like a veteran. Be looking for him to get a good run here as James Brandt leads them to the green. We're back racing here at the Twin Ring Motegi, and well, Alex Saunders already under pressure from Andrew Kinsella.
Now Saunders and Kinsella. Kinsella qualified in the back. He did a little bit of a pit strategy to get up there. Saunders with a good run now on Brandt.
Yeah, very big, strong run coming off 2 there for Alex Saunders. And Andrew Kinsella might try to take advantage here as well. Indeed, he is. James Brandt not going to shut the door on that move. And wow, Alex Saunders just had a great run there. James Brandt got a little close to the wall there coming off 4, but able to carry that momentum through and be able to pull at least a little bit ahead of Andrew Kinsella. Who now Andrew Kinsella is going to be under pressure from Tyler Graff. We haven't talked at all about Tyler Graff here so far today. He is our hard charger here so far, up 19 positions.
Woo-hoo. Having a good run, qualified in 23rd. Well, that's going on. I got to keep an eye on this early peel, late reveal here, and this is Adam Blocker, who's up to 9th right now. Galvin up into 10th, making a move.
It's the first time today that we've seen kind of that lead pack start to break away just a little bit. We do have 2 distinct packs right now on the racetrack.
Boy, Director, can we go back to 12th position? This is Jack Bogan. Joe Branch is trying to get around him. There is a pinata full of bees back there. The next row back, that's George Anzaldo on the low side. Big Joe Hassard in the middle. Stuck up top, that's Dandy Dan Guerin. As they try to run up on the two cars in front. Oh, man, it is ugly back here.
Yeah, that HPP simulation onboard camera giving us a good look at that hornet's nest that Dan Guerin has found himself in as we're looking out the rear wing of his car there. And, man, they're running 2x2 side by side.
Guerin finally able to negotiate out of that mess. He just has Joe Branch to get around. But meanwhile, his racing buddies, Blocker and Galvin, have moved up to 9th and 10th.
Very strong racing back there, as meanwhile up front it is quiet, so we can stay back here on this pack of cars.
The front very much more organized, very much more well-behaved.
Now, you get docked double incident points if you happen to make contact with race organizer George Anzaldo, right?
Yeah, that's a rule. That's a rule in any series. Don't crash into the race organizer.
I'm looking right now, going up just a few cars at Jason Galvin and Adam Blocker here, and that very well could be a battle for the lead coming up here in about 20 or so laps. Adam Blocker there makes a very strong move on Jason Galvin, and following him is Vincent Lundahl. Vincent Lundahl's not a guy we've talked about at all yet again here tonight, but a very good run. Oh, there's a car way loose behind him. That was Ken Hacker. Ken Hacker having loads of trouble there, able to get it gathered up. That very well could have been disastrous. We're going to pull it up here on the GSRC replay, and Soup, this is about as close as you can get to having a wreck without actually having a wreck.
Yeah, Ken's been having a rough season. He has a hard time bringing the car home. He's been in 4 races so far, and his best finish is a 26th. That was at Pocono last week. So he's going the right direction.
And of course, we are staying here in the middle of the pack right now, racing up front, very, very quiet. They are just, for the most part, running nose to tail. So this is where the action's at on the track.
Yeah, they're pretty much must be have a few passing going on left and right there, but they're getting it done. We're looking at the mess right now in 11th.
You know, I'm getting that old Darrell Waltrip NASCAR Daytona Talladega feeling. Oh, something's going to happen here. Something's going to happen.
Well, there are 3 big names. Galvin has cleared himself out of the mess. He's in 9th. Then you got Bluthenthal. He really doesn't belong with these guys. Apologies to the friends and family and fan club of Vincent Bluthenthal. But Blocker is a front runner, as is Dan Guerin.
Oh, aggressive move there by Dan Guerin.
Oh!
Dan Guerin gets touched a little bit. He's going up the track. He is going to collect Joe Branch. Caution on the speedway.
And that
Goodman gets tagged in that right at the tail end.
Now it all starts. This is Vincent Bluthenthal. Guerin had to take evasive action. Then he gets into Branch, and then we have another car collected, which was, it was the blue car of Mark Amick got in it.
Oh, it's Mark Amick. Okay, so Michael Goodman and Mark Amick have nearly identically
do
cars. So both them teammates running into trouble here in the first half of the race.
We get a good look at this one. Let's take a look from Chris Lanini when we have a chance. We'll go on board. They get together, and then here comes Amick. Oh, he started the back, thought you'd stay out of trouble. He gets collected. Let's look on board with Lanini. This will give you a good view. He gets through clean, but all the action in front of him. Chris decided to put in a good qualifying run this time. There it is, and he's going to go low, and everybody's out of his way, and it goes right by his right side of his helmet. Nice job, Chris. Caution number 3.
And with that, we're going to go ahead and we'll cover these pit stops here real quick as we're seeing some of the front runners come down, including Alex Saunders. We'll see where they shake out.
Saunders pits from up front. Kinsella, Brandt, boy, Brandt is still out there. Attaboy, James.
That's committed to the strategy, Soup.
That's it.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and we'll take a break here at GSRC. We'll bring back for more of the HPP Simulation 175 in just a moment.
The SimPit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The SimPit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for the SimPit.
And welcome back to the GSRC coverage of the Lionheart Retro Series HPP Simulation 175 live from the Twin Ring Motegi. We are currently under yellow, working lap 38 of 113 here today. Just want to remind everybody that HPP is awarding a set of pedals valued at $1,395 to the series champion, to the season champion this year in the Lionheart Retro Series. HPP's hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. Visit hppsimulation.com to check it out. HPP, designed to go fast and built to last. So, Soup, we were just talking under the break. One thing I've noticed is that all four front runners here, as we come back to green in just a moment, all four of them started outside the top 10.
Yeah, well, Kinsella, Graf, and Wright, who run first, third, and fourth, they pitted on the first stop. Then you got Cinderella staying late of the ball. That's James Brandt. He's in second position. He has yet to come in. Now, the clock's going to strike 12 for him pretty soon, and that Lotus 79 is going to turn to a pumpkin unless he sees a yellow pretty soon.
Well, we'll see how that all's going to shake out for him here as the Mustang pace car getting ready to pull off, getting ready to go back to green here in Japan. And there it goes, Andrew Kinsella taking the Miss Budweiser machine. Always love calling it that. Going down the front straightaway. Good jump there on James Brandt. But we've seen with this draft here today, that jump probably not going to last very long, as already James Brandt gaining back ground on Andrew Kinsella in that draft, and already saw Tyler Graf and Jake Wright swap positions. And here comes Jason Galvan looking racy back there for fourth and fifth.
Brandt had a good run on the back of Kinsella. Then he had to check up. And then you got Jake Championship Wright in the mix as well for third. Tires mean absolutely nothing as James Brandt is just a car. The number 15 car looks great as he ducks to the inside.
Yeah, there goes James Brandt. He's going to take the lead from Andrew Kinsella, and Jake Wright going to try to follow right behind him. Andrew Kinsella going to get a freight train here as here comes Tyler Graf. and Jason Galvin. Will Adam Blocker try to slot in behind all them? No, he's going to hang off here in just a moment. And once again, Soup, we ended up with two distinct packs, but this time the front pack looking racy.
Yep, now you talked about Galvin. He really doesn't belong as far as strategy goes with these guys. He's got about 8 laps fresher tires, so he's going to be able to run a little bit longer. Galvin and right there with Blocker. Remember, we saw them working their way through the field earlier? They're back together again.
James Brandt started 16th on the day, currently leading this race. And don't look now, here comes Jake Wright and Tyler Graff. We knew Jake Wright might be a strategy play for him not setting a time and starting in the back. He started 27th for today. He gets kind of pinned a little bit. He has to let off the gas, and that's going to allow Tyler Graff to get away from him at least for a moment, as well as Andrew Kinsella. Move Andrew Kinsella back into second position. He's getting hungry again, looking for the lead. And back behind him, of course, Tyler Graff. Tyler Graff's starting to look a little bit loose out there. These cars driving a little bit free. Now, while those guys are getting racy, it's slowing them down just a touch. And here comes the second pack led by George Zalda. They were running nose to tail, but now Joe Hassard's starting to stick his nose out.
Again, Tyler Graff qualified 23rd. He's up here due to pit stop strategy, but doing a good job of staying with these guys. Let me just follow up on a point. Remember we saw Galvin and Blocker, those guys were racing together. Well, the third part of their group was Dan Guerin. Remember, he was up in front. Where's Dan Guerin? Well, he decided to pit that last time. He's way in the back.
Yeah, of course, Dan Guerin was also hurt in that accident there, that last lap.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he was heavily involved in that. So Dan Guerin, I think right now, knows he's going to be running for this season, for the rest of the season here in the Lionheart Retro Series. He's out there for points, I think, here at this point, which is unfortunate. Very, very strong car from Dan Guerin here for today. So, meanwhile, back up front. Actually, I want to look back at this Andrew Kinsella, Jason Galvin, Tyler Graff fight. That got very, very close. I got on that right when Andrew Kinsella came across the nose of Jason Galvin. That was almost a 6 or 7 car accident right there.
Yeah, Graff beginning to drop like a pigeon now. His car really has some shadowy fancies when he gets behind some of the cars. The push is real for Tyler Graff. He has a good run right now outside of Kinsella. This is fine. But when a car gets right in front of him, oh my goodness, that number 26 is a handful.
For those of you that might be more familiar with the actual Lionheart, the big IndyCar series, maybe some other IndyCar series, maybe you drive the IndyCar yourself here on iRacing. The aero wash in these cars for these Lotus 79s is definitely not as prevalent as the modern IndyCar, but it is still there. So when you're getting late in a run like Tyler Graff, you definitely feel it at this point in the run.
How about Adam Blocker? He made his way through all those guys who stayed out. And now he's up in front.
Yeah, but not for long. Here comes Brandt. Brandt's wanting the lead. It was Andrew Kinsella. I think I could have sworn Andrew Kinsella was thinking about making it 3 wide there for a second, but he decides not to. Adam Blocker running that really high line. Tries to come down and try to get a little bit of momentum. Oh, I think there was a car in the wall back there. Big, big mess there on the front straightaway. That might have been Tyler Graff. Ooh, it's amazing we didn't have an accident right there. We're going to switch to the GSRC replay. We'll see Tyler Graff get up there and just brush the wall. And then behind him, George Zaldo and Woody Mahan see what was happening, take evasive action. Thankfully, everybody able to get away clean from that. Another close call with what could have been disaster. Now, of course, the lead up front right now, they are fighting side by side. They were 3 wide there for a moment going into the corner with Adam Blocker now in the lead. They are coming up on the slow and damaged car of Dan Guerin. So we'll see how that's going to affect this lead pack. That's going to be something interesting to watch here in just a moment. As, in fact, there he goes. Everybody's slipping by to the inside. Dan Guerin's letting him go by, but it definitely condensed that front pack just a touch.
I think that kind of ruined the rhythm of Adam Blocker as he loses the lead now. Galvin jumps underneath him. Now taking it down on the low side. That's the car of no, it's not Kinsella. Who is that down low? That is Jake Wright making the move down roll, moving up into second. And how about James Brandt staying out there on 48-lap old tires?
Yeah, we're figuring that James Brandt will probably be having to make a pit stop here before too long, but he has had a couple of yellows, so he might be able to extend it out a couple of laps. Supa, with the yellows falling where they are and the fact that we're only looking at 113 laps, could James Brandt be thinking about just a one-stop strategy and maybe having some more yellows late?
Maybe. We've had 3 yellows, so I honestly have no idea how far he can go. But I think if he gets to lap maybe another 13 laps, he's got a shot at this.
Be very interesting to see. And right now, that racing up front very tight. There's a 3 wide. Big Joe Hassert. Oh, Adam Blocker had to get out of the gas just a touch, and he had Tyler Graff right there behind him as Big Joe Hassert came across his nose. Big Joe Hassert making himself known here now, working inside the top 5.
We talked about Tyler Graff. I thought he was going to drop out of it, but got to give that kid some credit, man. He keeps it in there. He's racing in 7th.
Jason Galvin now trying to go to the lead, and it looks like he'll be able to at least work away a little bit around Jake Wright. He's going to be able to hold that lead as they come down the front straightaway and to the line. Who's going to lead this lap? It's going to be Jason Galvin. Jake Wright in 2nd, Big Joe Hassert 3rd, James Brandt in 4th, and Adam Blocker right now running in 5th. Very, very varied top 5 out there.
2 cars to keep an eye on. We go back to 10th position. The Candyman, Dustin Wardlow, sitting in 10th, and he's being followed by our pole sitter, that hotshot rookie, Alex Saunders. These guys are on a different strategy, so they fall a little farther back, but you're going to see them up in the front pretty soon.
Now, one thing I'm noticing, Soup, is that, with pit strategies and everything being what they are, I think these guys learned a lesson. You do not want to be in the middle part of this pack. Very, very hard to make big moves, meanwhile, the top 10 are able to make moves almost at will. You end up behind that, you have trouble. This track position can be very important to the end of this race.
Yeah, well, the 10th
3 wide for the lead.
I mean, look at that. They continue. Oh, careful. That's Galvin in the middle.
Oh, we got a spin in the back just behind those guys. Yellow on the speedway, trying to see who that is. Dustin Wardlow and Woody Mahan.
Woody Mahan got into the car in front. I think it was, identified that car, I think it was George Anzaldo. We talked about it. Made a little contact with Anzaldo. The car got around sideways. And then you got collected.
And that's gonna hurt Dustin Wardlow. Dustin Wardlow went into this race in 2nd in the points to Adam Blocker being in the lead, down 27 points to Adam Blocker going into here today. And where's Adam Blocker at? Well, Adam Blocker right now running in 6th. Could be a very good points day for Adam Blocker, but unfortunately heartbreak right now for Dustin Wardlow.
I'll tell you who says thank you very much for that yellow. It's got to be James Brandt. Now, James, this is lap 54. You haven't been in yet. I think you got to come in now.
Well, we'll see. Here comes Jason Galvin. I do see Brandt. In fact, I think most everybody's going to come out and stay out. Actually, Tyler Graff is going to stay out.
All the guys up front come in.
Another car stays out with Tyler Graff. That is George Anzaldo.
Pitters are Galvin, Brandt. How about the strategy from James Brandt? He knows when those yellows are coming. I'll just stay out, take my first stop here at lap 55. Don't know if they can get to the end from here. Maybe.
Could be tight. Just depends on that intel that we got about that 50-lap pit window is accurate, or if somebody was trying to maybe fool some of their competitors here in the Lionheart Retro Series. Of course, we'll see. But Vince, so we're getting a little bit of intel here. Andrew Kinsella seems like he's dropping back for some reason. Maybe a speeding penalty or something coming off pit road.
Don't know what that could be. So everybody comes in, when I say everybody, with the exclusion of Tyler Graff, George Anzaldo, and Jason Galvin.
Yeah, so Jason Galvin right now, the fourth car in line.
Let me correct myself. It's Bluthenthal. Sorry, my order was wrong. So it's Graf, Anzaldo, and Bluthenthal who have stayed out. Galvin is the leaders of all the cars who pitted. Galvin, Wright, Big Joe Hazard, Blocker, Saunders, all on the same strategy now.
I'd have to think, Soup, that even though the fall off on these Lotus 79 tires isn't tremendous, that Vincent Blumenthal, George Anzaldo, and Tyler Graf, they might just get ate up here by Jason Galvin and gang whenever we go back to green.
Yes, there's probably the rubber on the tires is a little thinner, and the talent behind the wheel might be a little thinner as well. Boy, these guys are going to end up hating me, but Graf, Anzaldo, and Bluthenthal certainly not used to seeing them run up.
You're just being vicious tonight, Soup.
I am. I've had a long day. George Anzaldo, certainly in second place, has a reputation to run up front. We haven't seen Tyler Graf do much. Vincent Blumenthal can race with these guys. I love Vincent Blumenthal. He should do well. He's in that John Player special. It's really a tribute to Mario Andretti, the man who made this car famous.
Well, certainly the paint scheme alone's worth an extra half second on track, right?
I would think so.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, your front runners right now. Tyler Graf deciding he's going to go ahead and come in late here. Oh, somebody else is going to follow him. Is that Blumenthal? It is Blumenthal. Graf and Blumenthal coming on in.
Well, I hope they weren't listening to the broadcast, and I discouraged them from saying out. I mean, George Anzaldo clearly does not have the broadcast in his helmet, as he's going to stay out on 34-lap old tires.
A couple of guys coming in, including Andrew Kinsella. One are maybe trying to top off the tanks and maybe thinking about stretching it, depending on how fuel goes here in the last half of the race. We are past halfway now. This race, I guess, if weather were to play a true role in it, would be considered official at this point. But of no rain or anything here on iRacing, so we don't have to worry about a spontaneous storm cloud popping up. The lights are off on the pace car. We're working our way down the back straightaway. We will be going back to green here this time by George Anzaldo in the lead, followed by Jason Galvin, Jake Wright, Big Joe Hassert, and Adam Blocker. That's going to be your top five when we go back to green. I'd be very curious to see here, Soup, how George Anzaldo is going to be able to hang up there and if we're going to see two packs break up again.
Well, if George is thinking that everybody needs to stop one more time, and honestly, I wish I could tell you for sure if they do or not, but if he thinks everybody needs to stop one more time, why not stay out there? We'll find out.
Find out very quickly. The field is forming up, waiting for that Mustang pace car to pull off. There it goes. George Anzaldo gets on the gas. He is away already. They're already seeing some movement going on. A couple of cars back there as well, with one car running high. And George Anzaldo, very good jump here going down turn one. He should lead through turn 1 and 2, but I imagine Jason Galvin going to get a run like a freight train here in the draft as they start heading down the back straightaway. Question's going to be, will he get to him by the time they get to turn 3? And he won't, not just yet. As George Anzaldo hanging on to the lead here so far, will he be able to lead the lap? Yeah, we can credit George Anzaldo with a green flag lap led here in the HPP Simulation 175. So good run there from George Anzaldo. And really, so far, it seems he has the speed to be able to keep Jason Galvin at the bay for at least a moment. But I have a feeling that's getting ready to change here going down the back straightaway.
George takes a nice straight line, leaves the inside open. The man from Bakersfield, Jason Galvin, dives that beautiful Quaker State car underneath. And I think he's going to lead this lap in anger as he comes across leading lap 59, working lap 60.
Very, very orderly now throughout the entire field. Everybody running nose to tail. Just a couple of boozing going on in the draft here so far. Nothing major going on. Jason Galvin trying to hold down that low line, but already George Anzaldo looking to try to make a move to try to go around him down the back straightaway. No, we're going to go ahead and go 3 wide as Adam Blocker kicks the inside. That's going to be George Anzaldo and Adam Blocker trying to decide the lead between the two of them. And Adam Blocker has a tremendous run. It looks like we'll be able to credit Adam Blocker with leading that lap. George Anzaldo gets a great run coming off 4. He's going to go down into 1. He's going to be looking at the high side as Adam Blocker defends. George Zaldo not able to do anything here just yet with Adam Blocker, as Jason Galvin going to be making himself known. He might try to take it 3 wide going down the back straight. We saw this earlier. He's going up the middle. Move Jason Galvin, trying to make that middle line work. Loses his momentum. One guy that was able to cut down the track and gain some momentum back. That's going to be George Zaldo. Jason Galvin's going to have to continue to fight him for second place going into turn 1 here in just a moment. Behind them, they're also 2 abreast as Jake Wright decides that he's going to go ahead and keep that 4th position away from Alex Saunders.
You talked about Jake Wright. We talked about the popcorn position. Jake Wright has done a good job of just checking up and staying out of trouble. And right now, he's happy to let Alex Saunders go underneath him. Jake is back there, really doesn't want to race in this. He's just staying close enough where he can see what's going on and maybe have an escape route if there's trouble in front of him. He falls back to 5th and about to lose another spot to Big Joe Hassard.
Already seeing that snaking motion. You can tell now these guys know they're in the second half of the race. And they know the track position is surprisingly important. With the draft as big as it is, you do not want to fall too far deep into this field. If you're up front, you can race and trade positions like this, but if you're in that pack back in 10th, 11th, 12th position, this becomes much more difficult as our top 3 continue to just trade that lead. And look, don't look now, Alex Saunders trying to make his name known. He is now up to 4th and starting to put some distance on Joe Hassard back in 5th.
As they continue to battle up front, Jake Wright doing what I like to call some matador racing, just kind of waving them on through as another drive, James Brandt, gets by. As the racing up front is incredible. Wright just keeps just back there trying to stay out of trouble.
Already see these cars sliding around just a little bit more under a load, particularly through 3 and 4, the tight end of the racetrack. So starting to see a little bit more wear there in the rear of those tires. Handling will become more of an issue as the run goes along. And of course, the other question is, what's George Zaldo going to have to pit here?
He's on 42 laps. I say he's probably got another 15 or so. It'll give us a real good indication of whether these guys could get to the end. The way that Adam Blocker is racing, he either feels that he can't get to the end, I might as well lead, or I guess he feels comfortable that he has enough fuel, doesn't have to worry about it. So that basically tells us nothing.
So were you just trying to make something out of nothing?
Yeah, I guess I was just speaking words, but the more I got into my analysis, I realized I really don't know anything what's going on. Perhaps the guy that I would think, again, Jake Wright, only because I know him for having 2 championships in the IndyCars. Now, clearly he's not as good in these Lotus 79s as he is in the Dolores, but I got to wonder, he is so smart. I just got to wonder if he's not back there, got this thing figured out, racing in 8th position right now.
Well, now the leaders will be catching the slow damaged machine of Dustin Wardlow. It's tough to see these guys that are running up front getting passed as they go by damaged, but oh well, at least Dustin Wardlow is still in the race and able to accumulate points. They're also going by Dan Guerin, another guy that had some heartbreak earlier, and Joe Hassard looking to take advantage of that slow-moving machine as it kind of slowed up Alex Saunders' movement to be able to slot him up into 4th position. He takes, or 3rd position rather, as he takes it away from Alex Saunders.
Dan Guerin qualified 4th. He's 2 laps down. Dustin Wardlow, the Candyman, qualified 5th. He's 1 lap down out there in the Dewars Candy Machine. Hey, Father's Day's coming up. If you want to get Dad a good present, get him some Dewars candy. Back to all of the sponsors here on the Lionheart Series. Good for Father's Day.
Hey, look, Joe Hassard trying to make a play on the lead.
Go.
Yeah, he got slowed up a lot right there. They're trying to shuffle George and Zaldo back a little bit here. But George is just not going anywhere. By that, I mean he is hanging up there.
So many racing lines around here. And again, I cannot figure out which one is fastest. And Zaldo trying the high line. Now he's going down low.
Oh, George and Zaldo goes from the high to the low side. He's looking to the inside of Alex Saunders here. Oh, almost contact. Joe has to let off the gas in a big way.
That was Saunders on the inside, Hassard on the outside. They both let up. They both keep going. That could have been ugly because there was a flock of machines behind them.
Well, a little bit of Adam Young opinion commentary. My views, not necessarily the views of GSRC or iRacing or whatever. Twin Ring Motegi needs to be more popular than it actually is. People need to race here. I have never seen a race that wasn't a fun race to watch here. And these guys and these Lotus 79 machines are putting on a whale of a show up front. This track is great with stock cars. It is great with Indy cars. It is great with these Lotus 79s. This needs to be a more popular track. So if you're out there watching, you know. Just know how I feel about the subject.
It doesn't get the love from the NASCAR guys because it's not on the regular NASCAR circuit, so it doesn't get races often as it should. Blocker now falls down to second, and here he comes, the rookie, our pole sitter, Alex Saunders, up to the front. Took a while to get back up there.
Hey, one guy that's hanging up there now still after that strategy is that Adam Blocker now falling back. He had to get out of the gas. I want to give a shout out to James Brandt. James Brandt still hanging tough inside the top 10.
I love James Brandt. He got up there because he refused to pit until the caution came at the perfect time. As we ride on board, looking over the right front wing of Brandt, sitting in 6th position. What a great run from him.
Well, George Anzaldo has now crossed 50 laps since the last time he was down pit road. So, will he or won't he will be the question. When will he come down pit road? It's going to give us a great indication of what everybody else is going to do. But while we're wondering about that, he's wondering, can I take the lead again? Because he's trying his best to get around Alex Saunders right now. And Alex Saunders just has that line figured out, able to get a great run coming off that slow 3 and 4. Still leading 1 and 2 as George Anzaldo is going to try to make another move here on Alex Saunders. Not quite able to get the run I think that he wants, but almost able to take that lead going down into 3. But behind these two, it just starts to become a hornet's nest once again. But this pack has broken away from the rest of the field. So the top 12 cars all within a matter here of about 2 seconds of each other.
Of course, we're going to lose George Anzaldo pretty soon as he's on a 52-lap stint. Galvin now up to 5th. James Brandt in 6th.
He certainly doesn't look like a guy that's getting ready to come down pit road, Soup. I mean, he is racy out there right now. He knows something that we don't know, I think, for sure.
Well, with 39 laps to go, I would imagine he's thinking about ribbons around oak trees or rivers in China. He wants something yellow right now. He does not want to have to pit under green. Greg West in 3rd from 20th position, having a good run. Joe Hassard, Galvin, James Brandt out there in the University of Phoenix machine. Car number 15. Boy, you know, you can go to college online. Wonder if they have any online racing classes.
Probably not.
Probably not. How about Scott Johnson in 7th? 25th.
Yeah, that's one of those sneaky little runs. We haven't talked at all about Scott Johnson here for today. And, he's up there fighting solidly in the top 10. And it's starting 25th.
Chris Lanini decided to put in a decent qualifying.
Here comes George. Here comes George. George Anzaldo getting ready to come down pit road. He is on the low side of the racetrack. I want to hang with him here for just a second. I would like to see where he shuffles out in relation to the rest of the leaders. These lap times these guys are running only in the 32-second range. So I imagine he's going to lose a lap here almost for sure. But if he can end up back in a pack, his lap time should still be pretty good, I'd imagine.
He's in there now. Now, what he's got to do, and he may be smarter than the rest of us. He's out. He's rolling before they come around. And there they go.
Yeah, they're going to blow by him here. We'll see if he's able to latch on to some of these cars that are running back here in the back part of the pack. That'd be Brandon Limkeman. We haven't talked at all about Brandon yet, and Michael Goodman back there running in 12th and 13th position. So we'll see if George is able to latch on to them and maintain some good lap times. But meanwhile, back up front, they're working their way again around Dan Guerin just a moment ago, and Alex Saunders still in the lead. Alex Saunders actually with a half-second lead that last time by over Greg West. Where did Greg West come from?
I don't say it like that. It's not like it's Soup's on. It's a legitimate driver.
I'm just wondering where he came from. I haven't talked at all about him today. I mean, you did a little bit on the grid, but he just snuck up there on us. Great run from Greg West out there today. Of course, teammates of Alex Saunders. Jason Galvin having a little bit of a connection issue, so we're seeing him bounce around a little bit. And, of course, anytime you see that, you have to start thinking about issues like netcode and that kind of thing. So Big Joe Hassler giving him a little bit of room right now.
$33 to go. Now, the question is, and this is the question that George Anzaldo really wants answered, can these guys go the distance from here? Saunders is on a 26-lap stint. You add 26 and 33. I can do that. That's 59. Ooh, that's a long way.
I don't think they can do it, but that's not going to stop somebody from trying.
And that's where George Anzaldo, you can't forget about him. Yes, he's a lap down, but he pitted from second position.
And I'm looking here right now at the lap times for Alex Saunders, and since he's been able to separate himself a little bit from this pack, and he is now running lap time suit in the high 31s by himself. That could be dangerous to George Anzaldo's hopes here in a little bit. In fact, we need to go take a look here at George's lap times the last couple by now. Granted, he's got a little bit more fuel in the tank now, but that is going to be something I think we're going to have to pay attention to here. In fact, he's running just a couple tenths slower, at least that last time by. So, it could also be a question, too, of how much fuel do those guys have to take on in their tanks. A little bit less fuel might make them a little bit faster.
Yeah, the bad news is George needed a pretty big fill. He didn't fill it up all the way. He only needed to go 35 laps, but he took 35 laps worth of fuel. When these guys come in, they're only going to need to take a splash. If you look at Anzaldo in 23rd, it's the guys behind him that our director is on, Goodman and Limkeman. You got to figure that they're going to be a little faster.
Yellow flag, Dustin Wardlow sitting in the middle of the track. Let's see what happened to him.
I got him blinking, and is it Jack Bogan? I think it might be the problem, unless I'm not on the right one.
Yeah, okay, so we might have had two incidents here. So Dustin Wardlow and Jack Bogan here.
There's the blinking Bogan gets loose.
Yeah. And he backs it into the wall just a touch.
And then Wardlow just kind of spins it on his own.
Yeah, everybody had to take evasive action there. Thankfully, they were able to see his car with enough time to be able to do that. But I'm going to be right on board Jason Galvin here. You'll see he gets the inside there of Alex Saunders. He sees the spin happening in front of him. Everybody gives each other room to be able to get by the car of Dustin Wardlow. Soup, I'm thinking here, everybody's going to come down now so they can be able to go the rest of the way. I'm thinking they will. In fact, here comes Alex Saunders. Here comes Jason Galvin. One guy that will not go back down is going to be George Anzaldo. That's going to slot him back up in the front. I actually think that works out in George's favor as far as now he doesn't have to worry about track position.
I don't think it. I think he's a lap down, though, so it puts him behind the pace car. He's going to have to get the wave around. I'm not sure if this yellow helped him.
You're right.
I think he needed green flag.
Yeah, he wanted that yellow to come out probably right after these guys made their stop. Yeah, you're right. But still, that'll get him back on the lead lap, and we've seen him work his way through the field. So, all right. So with that, since I'm forgetting which car is a lap down, which one's is not, we're going to go ahead and take a break here at GSRC, and we'll be back in a moment.
The SimPit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The SimPit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for the SimPit.
Welcome back to the HPP Simulation 175. Mustang pace car leading the field right now, but in that P1 spot, Alex Saunders, who gridded in P1 as well. Been able to run up front most of the day, trading the lead. But Big Joe Hassert, a little bit of a surprise coming up from 18th position. The surprise was how far back he was on the grid. We knew he'd find his way up to the front, and indeed he has. And in third position right now, you'll find Jason Galvin. Soup, very, very, very competitive race up front.
Yep, and Anzaldo was able to get his lap back, but he's way at the very back. Saunders, your pole sitter, he's been the class of the field so far. Let's see if he can bring it home from here. 26 to go.
So 26 to go here when they take the green flag. Alex Saunders gets a big jump on Big Joe Hassert. It's got to be worth at least about 3/4 tenths of a second right there. We've seen it time and time again, though, that Big Joe Hassert probably get a run here in the next half lap to a lap. But he's got Jason Galvin hounding him right now.
I would say usually that's the case, but what I saw Alex Saunders do before that last caution was really have the pace to pull away right now. I'm not so sure if these guys, Galvin makes quick work of Joe Hassert. We'll see if he can run down the man up in front, that interval, half a second.
Yeah, Alex Saunders definitely wants them getting racy behind him right now as Adam Blocker's coming up there to try to make his presence. I think right now Alex Saunders would love to see 3 wide in his mirror.
Blocker's been kind of shuffled down out of the mix here. He's our third fastest qualifier. He's had a hard time. He was running up front, then he got shuffled back. Hasn't been able to run him back down.
Now the front pack here right now kind of tame a little bit. Go back though to about 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 5th position here. Jake Wright involved in this Hornets. That's Greg West back there. Chris Lanini. I hadn't talked a lot about Chris Lanini here in a while since he got shuffled back on pit strategy, but he's found himself back up into the top 5 almost. Scott Johnson back here as well. These guys looking really racy back here.
Yeah, these guys aren't happy where they are right now because they know they're losing the touch with the leaders and making a move down low. That is Scott Johnson on the low side, on the inside of Chris Lanini. Jake Wright, remember I talked about him watching the popcorn position there? Now he goes through the middle. He's really scared as these guys are losing touch with the guys up in front. It's 2 seconds from Wright up to Blocker.
Yeah, almost like Jake Wright was trying to be the popcorn there for a moment, trying to pop out of the spot, and indeed he has. Those guys up front, though, continue to run away from that second pack.
4 wide in the back. Brad in the mix. Oh, my goodness. Jake Wright. And on the top side, it was Greg West. Let me say that with more confidence. It was Greg West. make up for your last. Oh, Greg almost gets into the back of Brad. He's going to be up in the marbles. He's losing ground. And now he almost chops it off Chris Lanini. Easy, Greg.
Took your breath away there for a second, Soup.
Yeah. 2.5 seconds now from Blocker back to those guys. The 4 guys up front running away. And look at Alex Saunders. He's just flying.
Yeah, he's pulling away from that second gap, but this is still the racing on the racetrack here because those top 4 just running nose to tail. They know that they've got to try to get in line here to chase down the leader, Alex Saunders, because if they don't, he is starting to run away from him. He has figured it out how to get away from the pack, and that's exactly what he's trying to do. Jason Galvin trying to mimic what he's doing, but we're back in the middle part of the pack again where contact almost there. Is that Andrew Kinsella on the outside? For his first race with VR, he's getting an eyeful.
He must be French. As he comes up behind Jake Wright now. Riding off the tail of Kinsella. Looking back at Scott Johnson.
I had a joke there, but I don't want to make any of our French viewers mad at me.
No, they're all wonderful peoples. We're watched all around the globe here on GSRC. We love the entire planet.
Just everybody's everywhere right now in that middle pack. And that front pack continues to just pull away from them. Now, over 3 seconds between Adam Blocker and Jake Wright. So that middle pack, I think their contention for the race win right now is done. They're fighting for things like trying to be right on the outside of the top 5 right there. Top 10 spots.
Well, as you look at the 4 drivers here, the blue car is Blocker trying to see if he can do something on Joe Hassard. They are positioning themselves for where they want to be when that next yellow comes out. Jake Wright now is going to be in 5th position when the yellow does come out, and I got a hunch we're going to see one before the end. 17 to go. As Blocker does make it around Big Joe Hassard now, up into 3rd. Alex Saunders, our race leader, he has been untouchable on the twisty courses. Hasn't been able to cash in on these ovals yet, but right now, he's 16 laps away from picking up his 3rd win of the season as he goes underneath Dandy Dan Guerin. How about a tip of the hat to Dan Guerin for sticking out there and bringing that car home?
And you brought up Alex Saunders not being able to bring one home on the oval yet. Keep in mind, I believe he led the most laps at Phoenix.
Yeah.
And he had a really good run going at Pocono, and just bad luck fell upon him. And today, just flawless. And you're right about Dan Guerin there. Fantastic job trying to hang on. He knows that points are on the line and trying to get a few more spots out there in case something happens. But, meanwhile, Alex Saunders, though, this time he's doing his best not to let bad luck hit him this time, and he is pulling away. He pulled away another 0.2 of a second here over the last 2 laps over Jason Galvin. I mean, that lead is up almost to a second. Meanwhile, he doesn't want to be involved in this. He does not want to see another yellow flag and something happen to be involved in this, because this is an absolute hornet's nest going from 5th on back, and caution on the speedway.
It's Edwins right in front. He gets touched. Edwins gets, it's Edwins and Tutwiler. Edwins in the lead. Tutwiler gets in behind him. I don't really know why that was necessary. Boys, you're back there racing for 20th position.
Ooh, and really, they got it straightened out very quickly, but the steward's very quick to throw the yellow on that as well. So, setting up to, once again, maybe have Jason Galvin have another shot at Alex Saunders as that lead disappears.
Yeah, Saunders did not see this. He did not want to see that. And here's the good news for Adam Blocker. He was able to get around Big Joe Hassard. No offense again to Big Joe Hassard, but I'm not sure if he's really one of our fastest drivers here. He qualified 18th. Blocker qualified 3rd. He might have something for these guys up front. And we talked about Jake Wright. Well, he managed to be at the front of that mess that was going back up there. He's going to be in 5th.
I think the key here is going to be to try to make sure that Alex Saunders gets as small of a jump as possible once the green flag comes back out. And if they're able to latch onto the rear of him, then maybe, just maybe, they'll be able to do something in the first few laps, because we'll have, what do you figure, Soup? Maybe about 10 laps to go when we come back to green here, right?
The number of laps to go is really important, and that's because Dan Guerin is in the mix with these guys. Now, if they go green with 10 laps to go or less, they will sort Dan Guerin out of this mix. But if they go green here in the next lap or two, Guerin is going to be... Dan does not want to be here. I wouldn't be surprised if Dan just doesn't drive the car down pit lane just to get out of here. He's a smart driver. He's 4 laps down. There's no reason for him to be here. We'll look for him to get out.
Yeah, and he will. You know, I think it's the next time by will be when the pits are open for him. So
yeah,
that he just doesn't want to get a penalty here. So that'll be. We'll see him come down pit road, I think, for sure.
But this brings Jake Wright into the mix. He's back there in 5th. I'm telling you, he's fast and sneaky. Andrew Kinsella didn't have a great qualifying run. He qualified 12th. He's racing in 6th. Wright qualified 27th, but again, I think Adam called it. I don't think Jake really wanted to put in a time, so we don't really know what he's got.
And it worked out for him. I mean, you know, he was able to avoid the early trouble, able to work his way up front on strategy, and now here he is. I mean, in the top 5, fighting for, you know, maybe potentially a win. Because if that front pack gets racy, I mean, we saw how the race was earlier on. If that front pack can get racy and not let the leader start to run away, then anybody, I think, in the top 15 of this race has a chance at it, you know, because we've seen some crazy moves. But they've got to have a couple things, and I'll think a lot of the key to everybody else having a chance at this race is going to be Jason Galvin not allowing Alex Saunders to get the jump here.
So pretty much big names all up front: Saunders, Galvin, Blocker, Hassard, Wright, and Kinsella. Then you get back to the guys that have had a real good run. In 7th, you got Greg West. Then you got the guy who ran long the first time, James Brandt. In fact, let me look at Brandt. He has made 2 stops now. Scott Johnson in 9th. And Ken Hacker had some issues back there in 10th. Probably the guys a little farther back than you would think. Lanini in 11th. Then you get back to Michael Goodman. You would expect him to be a little higher up, racing in the mild 7 machine. In 12th. Oh, you know what? If you look at Goodman's front wing, it's not quite pointing in the right direction. Just in case you don't know who you're following, he's got Goodman right on his tail. He's a good man.
Well, the lights should go off on the pace car this next time by, and we'll see if we're able to get the run to the green here. You know, Soup, I kind of have a feeling that we might see a little bit more action here before this thing's done.
And sure enough, Guerin took the opportunity to get the heck out of there. So usually I would say you don't want to get too big of a jump. Alex Saunders has been getting those of late. They haven't been able to really run him down, but he wasn't being chased by Jason Galvin. Galvin pretty darn good in these Lotus 79s.
And we've seen him get the job done before. So he's no stranger to victory lane in these things, and I'm pretty sure he'd want to race. He's kind of had some tougher luck in the Lotus 79s here to start the season in a few races, but you know, looking for a good run here for today. I mean, even second place would be a pretty good run there for Jason Galvin. Adam Blocker, you know, of course, Adam Blocker's been strong all the time as well. But Big Joe Hassard, sometimes bad luck just comes out of nowhere for him, and I think he wants to finish a strong top 5 here today as well. But we'll find out. I mean, the Mustang pace car already looking like the lights are off, and we'll see it pull off here heading down the back straightaway in just a moment.
I think if Galvin doesn't have the lead by turn 3, as soon as we go green, I think he might be in trouble. I think his best chance is to stay relatively close out of 2, make a run down the backstretch, and make a charge into 3. If he lets Saunders start to run away with it, it might be hard for him to hang on. We'll see how this plays out. Blocker has got up to 3rd. The good news for Blocker, he's got around Joe Hassard, so that blue car should be in the mix too.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see a little gamesmanship here on Alex Saunders' part. Maybe try to back him up as much as he's legally able to. And in fact, he does. Mustang pace car peels off. He's on the gas. It does back him up just a little bit. He does get a jump, but not as big of a jump as he got last time. Jason Galvin was anticipating that, and he is a full tenth of a second closer to him at the line there. That's a good measure for it. And in fact, here comes Jason Galvin. Great run off of 2. Is he going to be able to try to get alongside him? If he gets alongside of him, man, the game is afoot. And indeed it is. Jason Galvin on the outside, he squeezes him going down into turn 3 and 4. It really doesn't matter who comes out in the lead right here, as now they know that they can try to do something with him here.
Great defensive line that Saunders took on that one. Galvin was going to have to pass him on the top side. Here comes Blocker underneath. Blocker and Galvin have to be careful that they don't slow each other down. Oh, Blocker with a great run out of 2. Let's watch the line that Saunders takes this time. I think it's going to be to the left.
Yeah, they're going 3 wide here. We're going 3 wide for the lead here with only 8 laps to go. Jason Galvin going to get in the lead. Alex Saunders has to back out of the gas. Adam Blocker did not at all. He's going to go around both of them on the outside. That lead swapped 3 times in the back half of the track that last time by. We're at 7 to go, and everybody is in play here in the top 5. Big Joe Hassard's there. Jake Wright is there. But, man, they are making some moves right now. The racing getting really close. Jason Galvin having to work his way to the outside. He's looking right there as he has a great run on Adam Blocker. Adam Blocker's going to have the preferred inside line here going through 3 and 4. Remember, it's egg-shaped. If you're just joining us, Twin Ring Motegi, that 3 and 4 is tight. The 1 and 2 is wide. Kind of like almost a different version of Darlington out there. But Jason Galvin taking that outside line to be able to run that pretty well out there here for today. But right now you want what gives you the most momentum, and he loses a little bit of momentum. And actually Joe Hassard has to lift out of it just a touch. Almost contact there with Galvin and Alex Saunders. Alex Saunders trying to get to the outside of Adam Blocker.
Oh, and Galvin almost gets into it. He's going to slow down, and look at this. The man who's been sitting back there, that is Jake Wright.
Jake Wright knows what's going on with these things, and knew if they could just keep Alex Saunders in sight here, it would just be an interesting race to the end, and we're seeing that now. 5 laps to go now, coming to 4 to go here next time by. Alex Saunders did not get the run, and we are fighting for the lead. It is going to be a great race here coming to the line. Last time out at Pocono, the difference was 1/100th of a second. Could we do better than that here for today? As Adam Blocker going to get the inside line, Alex Saunders runs him almost all the way down to that pit wall. They trade the lead once again. Alex Saunders now slipping into second. He's in that draft of Adam Blocker. Adam Blocker going to run the inside defensive line this time by, just like Alex Saunders has the last couple of times. Alex Saunders actually has to defend for Joe Hassard. Joe Hassard lets out of the gas just a touch. He's going to slip in behind Adam Blocker as Alex Saunders uses that momentum on the outside to carry him back to the lead. And immediately tries to dive to the inside using that snake, trying to break that draft. Caution on the speedway. That's going to end it.
It was Vincent Blumenthal. Oh my goodness, racing for 13th position. Car just got loose. And I hate to see that happen. I got one more in me. I hate to see that happen.
A lot of guys up there that had a chance at this win, and but well, that's just racing's luck sometimes. It's bad luck for the guys up front that were hoping for the win, and also bad luck for Vincent Blumenthal there, who unfortunately, had to be the one to bring out that caution. No fault of his own. It just sometimes happens that way at the end of these races. So Alex Saunders, assuming he put enough fuel in at his pit stop, should be able to go the rest of the way. Of course, I don't want to count everything here count the chickens before they're hatched, but Alex Saunders looks like he's going to come away with the win here for today. Adam Blocker second, Big Joe Hassard third, Andrew Kinsella being able to work his way up to fourth, and Jake Wright all the way from 27th spot to 5th position. Looks like he's going to finish. Jason Galvin got shuffled right there, right before the caution came out. Jason Galvin getting shuffled back to 6th position.
Yeah, it was all a matter of timing. Blocker could have easily have won this race. It's just a matter of when that yellow flag was going to wave. Blocker and Saunders were swapping spots as they come across getting the white flag now. And like you mentioned, horrible luck for Galvin, who started this green flag run in second, ended up back there in 6th. How about the man who run long, Jason Brand, in 7th? Ken Hacker having his best finish of the season in 8th. Scott Johnson and Chris Lanini right at your top 10.
And of course, Adam Blocker also going to be able to extend his points lead, with the second place, with the second place finish. So that is not a bad day at all for him. As this is the 6th race, of course, of the season here so far, and Adam Blocker is going to finish in the top 5 of 5 of them. So great points day for Adam Blocker, especially with Dustin Wardlow's unfortunate troubles there. He is the only one in the top 6 that was either that didn't have any trouble or was actually present, because a couple of them were missing here for tonight. So big points day for Adam Blocker. That's going to be already a big points gap as we go through, as we end the first third of the season. First third of the season already going to be over here today, Soup.
Alex Saunders out there in that Nighthawk machine. He races for Nighthawk Motorsports. And once this drop races come into effect at the halfway mark, with 3 wins, Alex Saunders is going to be up the charts. Here they come.
Yeah, coming down to the checkered and yellow flag, waving together. Adam Blocker can try to pull up at least a little bit closer alongside of him. But under yellow, Alex Saunders will take the HPP Simulation 175. Fantastic racing up front. These guys put on a whale of a show. And at the end of the day, was the guy that figured out how to pull away from the pack. But ultimately, he had to race for it. Alex Saunders coming away with the victory here for today. When we come back here in just a few minutes, we'll go into that post-race show presented by
Plasma Tracks, baby.
Plasma Tracks, that's right. So we'll come back here for the Plasma Tracks post-race show in just a moment.
The SimPit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The SimPit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for the SimPit.
Welcome back to the Twin Ring Motegi and the Plasma Tracks Victory Lane post-race show. If you're struggling to find something for the person who has everything, do I have the website for you, plasma-tracks.com. Not only produces original racetrack wall art, motorsports trophies, home decor, and motorsport fabrication are also available. Words cannot do justice to the uniqueness of their wares. The only way to fully appreciate their artwork is to see it for yourself, but be warned, one visit, and the next thing you know, you'll be trying to convince your spouse why you need a plasma track wall art hanging in your home. See it all on plasma-tracks.com. So, fantastic race out there here for today, Soup. And coming home with the win was Alex Saunders. He'll be wearing that P1 here for today. Next in line was Adam Blocker. Big Joe Hassert coming up from 18th position. Andrew Kinsella able to get back up into 4th position. Jake Wright in 5th. Jason Galvin coming home in 6th. James Brandt with a great run here for today, coming home in 7th. At Ken Hacker in 8th, Scott Johnson in 9th, and Chris Lanini in 10th.
Good. Then my 10 guys all finished on the lead lap as well, starting with Tyler Groff. Greg West, these guys run next to each other for a lot of the race. They come on 11th and 12th. In the Baker's Dozen spot, George Anzaldo ran up front for a long time. A yellow flag caught him out, able to get his lap back and salvage the 13th position. 14th and 15th go to Michael Goodman and George Adams. All ribbons and curls in the Sweet 16 position. It's Brandon Limkeman. Brian, it's not easy being Greenlee. Didn't talk about you much, but you finished on the lead lap, up 5 spots into 17th position, just ahead of Justin Weaver, who finished 4 spots behind where he qualified in 18th. Ed King Tutwiler in 19th position, and rounding out your top 20, it's Robert Bluen. Adam?
Yeah, and then Ron Hacker able to come home in 21st here today. Peter Edwins had a couple of problems. He ends up on 22nd, but still on the lead lap. Vincent Bluthenall is in 23rd. Also a few problems out there today for Vincent. Dustin Wardlow able to limp that car home to 24th, and Dan Guerin able to limp his car home to 25th. The rest of these guys did fall out over the course of the race. Jack Bogan, Woody Mahan, Frank Beezer, Joe Branch, Mark Amuck, and I'll just round it out here. 2 guys that had big problems and a big loss in the points day also for Ryan Otis, and also David Altman finding himself into trouble very early on in the race. So with that, I believe Soup's caught up with our race winner, Alex Saunders.
Alex, congratulations on the first oval wins. Got to feel good to get one in on these circle courses.
Yeah, it really does. It was really nice just to get to the end of one and winning's a bonus.
You fell back in the mid-pack there, a little worried when you were farther back with some of the nonsense going on back there? Kind of scary for a while.
Yeah, it was. It was nice, the fuel strategy and everything worked out, but I was really surprised there was a lot of like 3 and 4 wide going fairly early in the race. It was pretty intense.
Getting to the end, you had that good start 2 yellow flags ago. The last one you were able to pull away. The one before the last one you were able to hold your lead. This one though, they ran up on you.
Yeah, it was tough. You either wanted to get a really good jump or no jump at all, and I kind of botched that last one. Jason did a really good job of staying with me, so it certainly made it exciting.
You protected the inside. Do you start to worry when you get to the point of no return where a yellow flag will end the race that you've got to be out front?
No, I wasn't even looking at it. It was too much trying to dice with Adam and Joe and Jason, and I knew we were getting close to the end. I honestly had no idea what lap we were on.
The cars seem to run good, low or high. Motegi puts on a good show.
Yeah, I really liked it. I was able to, make whichever line work. It was real tough. The car pushed a lot in 3 and 4, but you could handle it. You could get some runs. I liked it. That obviously the one stint where I was pulling away a little bit, I really liked that.
All right, well, congratulations on your 3rd win of the season. First one on the ovals. When drop races start to take effect, we're going to look for you to be really close to the top of the charts. Good job.
Hey, thanks. Quick shout out to my teammate, Greg West. He had a great race. He was running up there with me. It was really neat, and hopefully we can get some good results for the team coming up.
Absolutely. For Nighthawk Motorsports, we saw that Greg was running well. We noted that. Good job. We'll see you down the road. Alex Saunders, your race winner today. Adam?
Yeah, and of course, we'll have the Adam and Adam show here for just a moment as we'll bring in Adam Blocker. And Adam, a very, very strong second place run here for today. Do you feel like if that race would have went green the rest of the way, did you have something for Alex?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we were swapping the lead every lap, basically. I think he was a little bit better than me. I think he could hold the outside or at least like he was better at holding the outside in 3 and 4, and that could have been the difference. But yeah, I was trying to give everybody a lot of room because I know I was having connection problems all race, and that kind of plagued me. I had to drop back a couple times, and it wasn't ideal. So I mean, I'll definitely take second out of that whole deal, especially with a lot of other people having problems. So.
Of course, it will be a big points day for you as you came in already with a 27-point lead. You're going to extend that by probably quite a bit here this afternoon. Now, of course, you mentioned the swapping back and forth of the lead and other positions up at the top 5. It just felt like you were in a hornet's nest most of the race.
Yeah, and to be honest, like it was kind of weird because the beginning of the race, I thought everybody was racing too hard because we had a long way to go. But the thing was, so I gave them room, and then I dropped back a little bit, and I realized, oh crap, I don't want to do that because the further you drop back, the harder they're racing. So, you kind of had to race hard to stay in front just because everyone else was racing hard. So that's probably why a lot of people got in trouble. But yeah, then eventually, thankfully, there was some periods where we had long green runs, and we kind of broke away a little bit, and you could just ride a little bit, and then yeah, obviously get in position for the shoot at the end. And yeah, I think between me and Alex, I think we had 1 and 2. It was just about what order we were gonna be in, but yeah, it was definitely a pretty crazy race. I wish they'd taken off some downforce off the set because I think it was too much of a pack race. But
well, either way, you come home with a second-place finish. Big points day for you, and hopefully you're able to duplicate the success in Milwaukee.
Yeah, hopefully. I know it was pretty decent there last year. That was my first race of the season last year. So, yeah, hopefully, it goes a little bit better this time and get another win or at least another podium. So.
All right, well, there's your second-place runner here for today, Adam Blocker, and I believe Soup is going to go ahead and catch up with Big Joe Hassard.
Joe Hassard, you're tough to commentate on. My long-term memory tells me that you should be running up front, but my short-term memory says, man, he's just not running so fast anymore. It's great to see you finally get a podium.
I think your short-term memory is preceding you as well. I think I've been running up front pretty good this year. I haven't ran a lot of retro races, but
well, you don't have. Yeah, that's it. You just haven't run a lot of the. I'm thinking Retro Series only. This is by far your best finish in the Lotus 79.
Yeah, it's only my third race this season in this car. So ran up front at Pocono, but I spun, and you weren't going to say my name ever again if I would have brought out a caution. So,
yeah, that was well done. Thanks for doing.
Hey, I was in 7th, not 13th.
All right, I apologize, man. Hey,
I was just trying to race for the win. I think I had some wing damage early, kind of hurt me a little bit when we got to the end, but it was a fun race. So I'm glad I ran it, but it would have been nice to see how those last 3 laps played out.
Those 2 cars battling side by side up front, punch a pretty big hole. Might have been an opportunity for you, no?
Yeah, I kept trying to swing wide and maybe arc the corner. It would get a little, try to get a run off, but hats off to Saunders and Blocker. They were quick out of 4. So I was running as hard as I could. I was hoping maybe they get together or something like that. So I was along for the ride there at the end. Those guys were quick.
Well, I'm smiling. Good to see you finishing up front again where you belong. Way to go. Good luck the rest of the way of the many races you choose to race in the retro car.
Sounds good. Thanks, Soup.
Joe Hassard, 3rd place today. That's what we like to see.
Yeah, very big, strong run from Big Joe Hassard here for today. And we want to bring in just really quick, got time for one question here for our 4th place runner, Andrew Kinsella. Andrew, kind of an up and down day for you. You end up in the middle of the pack a lot. And I just had to ask you, what was running in the middle of that pack like with everybody just seemingly everywhere at times?
Wow, that was wild. That was my first race with VR, and I'm glad that I had that for that race because I could see everything that was going on around me, and I was able to avoid any contact with people. And there were definitely some close calls in there, but that was wild. I think I went 14th to 6th in like 10 laps there, just in that one last run before the end, and then battling with Jake and Big Joe and Jason at the end. It was a ton of fun, great race. Came back from that penalty and to finish fourth is just awesome with this car.
And I'm glad you brought up the VR part. And do you feel like it really helped you today?
Oh, for sure. There was some situations that I know I wouldn't have been comfortable going into with a single screen, but the VR definitely made it work. And it takes a couple of days to get used to, but as soon as you get used to it, it's like you can never go back.
All right. So I already blew past the one question quota we had for you, but our director wants to know what is the JRT on your wing? Can you tell us what's going on there?
JRT. I honestly, I just picked up this particular paint from Trading Paints. So it was just it was a tribute to Bobby Ray Hall. So I don't know what JRT actually stands for there.
Okay. Well, we have that part answered. Of course. Thanks for joining us here, Andrew, and we'll see you in Milwaukee.
All right. Thank you.
All right, that's Andrew Kinsella, of course, the driver of what I like to call the Miss Budweiser hydroplane out there here for today. So with that here, Soup, we're done. We're wrapping this thing up, but what a fantastic race we saw.
Motegi puts on a great show. Let's come back here next year.
All right. So we'll go ahead and wrap things up, and got a lot of people to thank. And of course, one thing we do have to thank is HPP Simulation, where nothing is going to beat the feel of a true hydraulic braking system from HPP Simulation, designed and manufactured right here in the USA on state-of-the-art CNC equipment. HPP's hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more information, please visit www.hppsimulation.com.
Went in to see my doctor today, and he said, your heart's fine, but do me a favor, Soup. Stop watching the HPP commercial and the butt kicker commercial. Man, if that doesn't get your pulse up, nothing will. Butt kicker products add instant immersion to any game. Unlike the subwoofer that moves air and loses accuracy and force, butt kicker products move actual mass, producing a haptic immersion. Candy bar for me later tonight. That's powerful and accurate. Butt kicker products add that missing driver-to-car connection, bringing you more realism and immersion to your sessions. See all the family of products at thebuttkicker.com and use this promo code LION20 to get 20% off your order. Now, if you want to get your pulse rate down, then watch the SimPit commercial, because Sean Cole, he'll slow you down a little bit. Unless he brings in his old partner, Jessica Lopez, who's really neat. If you want to go ahead and check her out.
They did a video together. She came back for a video.
No way!
Reunion video a couple weeks ago, yeah.
Outstanding. I didn't know that. That's great. Okay, read the plug.
Yes, but spoiler alert, she's no longer Jessica Lopez. An entertainment channel dedicated to sim racing. Its focus is to bring you news, reviews, and information from around the world about sim racing hardware and software. It also focuses on what it takes to be a better sim racer with instructional video and how-tos that will help your performance on the virtual track. Check it out at thesimpit.com, and you should just do it because Sean Cole is just an awesome, amazing guy who we all like. Just great guy. All right, so to contact any of the sponsors that you're going to see on your screen right now, head on over to LionheartRacingSeries.com, click on 2018 sponsors, read or scroll to the bottom where you can click on the company logo. On the screen now are also just some of the companies and equipment and software that help make this broadcast possible. The iconic original music that lets your ears alert your eyes you're watching a GSRC production comes courtesy of Eric Echolm and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them.
Yes, Lopez news about her not being married. Now, it's going to be hard for me to read this next part with enthusiasm, but I'm a professional. The Lionheart IndyCar Series returns next week at the Milwaukee Mile, 200 laps of flat track action. We'll also have all the other broadcasts on screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. Come on, Soup. If you'd like to find out more information about GSRC, you can find it all at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. We're also on Instagram. I have no idea what we could possibly do on Instagram, but if you're there, you go to at GSRC.
Instagram is awesome.
_Graham. Okay, I guess. And while you're here, if you haven't done it yet, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
I'm much more on Instagram. I hate Twitter. I'm on Instagram.
Okay.
All right, so finally, on behalf of the man whose voice you just heard, Bill Soupzon, our director, Amjad Yaman, and our camera artist, Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. With that said, well, we're going to go ahead and go to a few laps ourselves around Twin Ring Motegi because they put on an awesome show here for the Lionheart Retro Series, and it's going to be a great time at Milwaukee coming up here next week. Hope you join us then. Till then, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.